Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This Saturday edition is going to be brief. I'm going to basically talk about the pipeline of various CRISPR companies to compare and contrast. And I have not taken every pipeline item. I'm just looking at the ones which are in clinical trial stage. So let's get started. The most crowded space seems to be sickle cell disease. There are multiple companies participating in this race out here. I'm going to show you what it looks like. If you look at this green line out here, this green bar, it basically is a kind of indicator to measure the progress. And we are measuring the progress against the various stages in the FDA approval cycle: research, enabling, clinical trials, marketing. So as you can see, CTX001 is in clinical trials right now. Once it gets a BLA, it can go into marketing. Beam 101 has finished enabling and it's going to start its clinical trials to the best of my information. Editas again is in clinical trials. Bluebird has got two therapies for this sickle cell disease, and both are in clinical trials. And Intelia has got one in clinical trial. There may be other companies. If any of you know of any other companies which are in sickle cell disease therapy space, please put it in the comments below. As you can see, because most of the companies here are in the clinical trial stage, they are likely to come out with FDA approval around the same time. Most probably at least 2 or 3 of them could come out together, which means that the revenue that is available in that space has to be divvied up among these. And also the cost of therapy is likely to be higher when they get started. So even though it's going to be a great breakthrough for the entire CRISPR space as such, it's not going to be as profitable for most of the participants, but it will be a really strong proof of concept and for people to get used to CRISPR-based medicine. So that's one of the utilities I think can happen. Even if you look at the worldwide market, if you have got so many competitors, we have here CRISPR, Beam, Edit, Blue, and Intelia. So we already have 5 here. So it's a lot of competition. But nevertheless, it's good that so many of these companies have got their CRISPR-based therapies in the clinical trial. Sooner or later, one of them is going to succeed. In the next 2 to 3 years, we are definitely going to have a breakthrough from this area. The next one is Immuno oncology space. This is also a bit crowded. And in this, we have got CRISPR therapeutics with at least 3 therapies, Intelia with 1, Allogene with 2, Beam with 1, and Caribou Biosciences with 1. So when it comes to the immuno-oncology field, the first one, CTX110, is for CD19 plus malignancies, whereas CTX120 is multiple myeloma, and CTX130 is solid tumors and hematologic malignancies. Now, all these 3 are CAR-T products, therapies, and they are wholly owned by CRISPR Therapeutics. All of them are in their clinical trial stage. So any of these succeeds, it's going to be a great advantage for CRISPR Therapeutics, and it will be more beneficial than sickle cell disease therapy, in my opinion, in terms of generating revenues for the company. Intelia's NTLA-5001 focuses on acute myeloid leukemia, whereas Allogene's 501A focuses on relapsed or refractory non-Hodgkin lymphoma. And Allogene's ALLO-316 focuses on solid tumors, whereas Beam's 201 is focused on lymphoblastic leukemia. And Caribou Sciences CB010 is focused on non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So this is the whole set of immuno-oncology plays out there. And all of them are in the clinical trials. Any of them could soon get into the BLA stage and get into commercialization. Again, it's also a crowded field, but the specialization is very evident out there. I think Allogene and Caribou Biosciences are probably competing for the same therapy, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, but others seems to be in separate areas. The field is a bit crowded, but still I think all of them will be viable. When it comes to companies operating in other spaces, we have CRISPR and Vertex. Both of them are competing for type 1 diabetes, where CRISPR with VCTX210 and Vertex with VX880. So those two are competing there. So it's a bit crowded out there. But when we look at other diseases, NTLA-2001 from Intellia is focused on ATTR, whereas NTLA-2002 from Intellia is focused on hereditary angioedema. EDIT 101 targets LCA10 ocular therapy, so they are spread out into different areas. But overall, if you look at the entire pipeline for the industry, you can see that there are many, many candidates who happen to be in phase 3 clinical trials. So it's just a matter of time before any of these get approved and get into the marketing stage, and we start seeing monetization happening. At this point of time, CRISPR industry is running based on what people are anticipating would happen. But once one of these therapies gets approved and gets accepted into regular medical use, then the confidence that people would have in this sector, this industry is going to be phenomenal. It will attract more capital and much greater investments. And also all the shares that people have bought, many of the people who are subscribed to this channel hold a lot of genomic stocks over a period of time. And at this point of time, you're seeing a sea of red in your portfolios, but over a period of time, as all the candidates in the clinical trials start moving slowly into the marketing stage, that's when you'll start seeing a lot of green coming back into your portfolio and things getting better. I think that at this point of time, given that we have a market crash going on, this is an ideal time to stock up on long-term bets. And if you are inclined to look at long-term bets in the genomics sector, no better time than now, I suppose. And if you're trying to look at stocking up on good quality stock, regardless of any field, then there are a lot of big tech companies which have dropped in value significantly, which are like on fire sale, like Tesla or Apple, or for that matter, even Microsoft, Google, Amazon. So there's a whole lot to pick up from in the overall market. And in genomics also, we have some, I have personally got some top favorites. One of them is CRISPR Therapeutics. And I think my whole focus is on CRISPR Therapeutics. There are other companies which are doing a very good work and should be highly valued. I think there is Illumina. I consider that to be a really good company. PCAB is also very good. So there's a whole range of companies out there. We are going through some difficult times in the market, and these times won't last forever, but while they are present, it may seem like they have been around forever. But right now, the overall market sentiment is into extreme fear, and we are seeing a little bit of rebound selectively on companies that have been so far beaten up that there has been a capitulation for the seller, and therefore there is no more seller, there is seller fatigue, and therefore those shares are now able to pick up some value, but there will always be profit taking on the way up. So we have to look for range bound trades going forward. That's what I think my blueprint for the future seems to indicate, that we are going to have consolidation, that is range bound movement on a sideways manner. So few days of ups, few days of down and back again, up and down until something resolves. I think the first thing that's likely to resolve would be the Shanghai lockdown issue. That is most likely to be the first one to get resolved, and that will take us to the next level of consolidation. So we are going to keep on consolidating until all the risks pan out. Either they are mitigated or they come to be, and all the necessary things that are supposed to happen due to that risk come to pass. So either way, it's just a matter of time. So hang in there. And in the long term, it's going to be looking really good. In the short term, things are looking a bit tricky. Also, because of the fact that interest rates are going up, venture capital also is going to become a bit difficult for companies to get. So that's another constraint that is looming around us. But if in the third quarter of this year, or by the beginning of the fourth quarter of this year, if inflation is under control, then things should start looking much better. So with that, I would like to ask you, how did you like today's session? It's not anything new. I've just put all the information that's already available together by focusing only on therapies that are in clinical trial stage. And the idea of doing this is just to give all of us the comfort that despite the fact that we are hearing a lot of noise all over the place about inflation, about the war, about the lockdown and everything, in this process, we probably tend to forget that these companies are hard at work trying to get into the monetization stage. And many of them have progress to show. And whatever I showed you today, all of them are in clinical trials. So plenty to look forward to in this field. I hope this gives you encouragement. And if you like this video, please press a like there. And if you are not a subscriber, why not? Please subscribe and join our community for everything related to CRISPR. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.